Hey guys, what's up? It's Monops and Paymon.
We are recording after many, many technical difficulties.
It's been rough going so far.
It's been very rough, but we've had a very eventful night. We watched the Celtics lose, of course.
Congratulations, Ray Allen, though, on
Huge.
What was that, like 2,560
2,516 when we last saw. But that was like in the first quarter, so we don't know how many else he hit. Then we saw an epic Jersey Shore episode.
It was pretty sweet.
It was very sweet.
At the end of the season.
I think it's the first time I've ever kind of liked Sam.
Sam is so hot, dude. You can hate on her all she wants.
She's a phenomenal dancer.
Hot, dude. She's just phenomenal.
Absolutely
dude.
excellent dancer.
Natural, just straight through. I love it.
I wanted to say some things about her dancing, but I had Tiffany next to me. So
okay. You just say, hey, Tiffany, earmuffs. And she puts her hands over your ears and say whatever you want.
No, sometimes she covers her eyes when I say earmuffs. It doesn't make sense to me, but it happens.
Special, huh?
Yeah.
Short bus rider?
It is what it is.
You know,
you take what you can get. We haven't recorded in a couple of weeks. I had the second coming of the plague, and then my family went away, so I was always at work. And
so a whole bunch of excuses. A
whole bunch of nonsense.
On the purges, then.
Matt has been doing his thing, whatever that may be. We don't know. He goes to cigar bars a lot.
I'm classy. I'm a classy guy.
He told me a story about how he tried pouring water on a girl twice, which was kind of weird.
It was awkward.
For her.
Yeah. I was trying to do wet t-shirt contest, but she wasn't.
You were trying to pour it on her wrist, man. You were
at
way
first,
off.
To see if her fucking lame ass tattoo would come off. This girl got a tattoo of a skeleton on her wrist.
I hope she's one of our fans, by the way, so she listens.
She's not. My friend's not on Facebook.
She doesn't have to. We have so many fans who
well,
are
you never
not
know,
our
dude.
friends.
You never know. Well, anyways, if she listens to us, you're an idiot. You're hot, but you're an idiot.
Fair enough. You and I were brainstorming some topics. Mm-hmm. One of the ones that you wanted to touch on, which I feel like we should do first. We're coming off the Anderson Silva one-shot over
the kick
after 2.5 minutes of just looking at each other. Silva got bored and just was like, all right, that's enough.
I'm going to flick my toe at him and see what happens.
And just annihilate you.
This is basically what happens.
Yeah, and you wanted to talk about, is he one of the best? Who are the top 5 best? Again, I'm not going to say like a newbie UFC fan, but I've started very much paying attention to it over the last year and a half, where I know you've been following it a lot longer.
Yes, sir.
In my opinion, Silva, I'm not a fan of the guy at all.
Yeah,
I can't stand it. I think he's a jackass. The one thing that like I've learned from training over the last year plus is always respect your opponent, even if you don't like them. Mm-hmm. Always show respect. It's the code you're supposed to have. You don't want to be like Antonio Cromartie. Basically, is what I'm saying. So I don't like Silva, but I do think he's a top 5. Since I've been watching over the last couple of years, he's never lost. He's never even He did come close. Chael Sonnen.
Yeah, it's 13-0, I believe, in the UFC. 13 or 14.
Me, I'm gonna hang my hat on GSP. You know that. I absolutely love the man.
That's true.
He's the only good thing in the world to ever come out of Montreal, ever. So for me, I'd put him top 5 in a heartbeat. Silva, top 5. The next, we agree on those two, right? They're both top 5.
Absolutely. In no particular order.
No particular order. That's impossible to find out what the order is. The next 3, I'm going to let you elaborate because, like I said, I don't go as far back as the Tank Abbott days. I know Ken Shamrock more from the WWF than I do from...
Well, I think this is a much debated topic, especially because considering the length of the time the sport's been around, like it's still evolving and everything. One of the things I don't agree with is I don't agree that Fedor is one of the top 5 of all times. If you look at his record, he hasn't really fought anyone. Like the only big name fighter that he fought was Nagaren. Honestly, Nagaren's overrated.
Absolutely.
But I think if you look at it from a standpoint of not only like the greatest of all time, but who's transcended the sport. Like in that case, if it's like that, like who's helped put it on the map, I'd put Chuck Liddell in there. Because he's one of the people that brought it to the mainstream. He was the first UFC fighter to ever be on ESPN, the magazine. And so I think he's up there. I think, what's his name? Bernie Couture should be considered as a top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
He's like 48 and just dominates.
Total ambassador of the sport.
Dude. Complete ambassador. And I guess I can say either, I'd say either Royce Gracie or Ken Shamrock is the 5th best.
Yeah.
Just for not necessarily the greatest talent-wise of all time, but just what they've done for the sport. Like Royce Gracie was the first UFC champion ever. UFC's basically the Gracie Challenge, essentially. Now it's evolved into a much different thing, but
right.
I mean, without those people, without the pioneers, the sport wouldn't be where it is today.
A lot of people became fans of the UFC, and one of the names like you always heard from like the newbie fans, it was one of the names that I first heard, that got me kind of into it, was Chuck Liddell.
Favorite fighter of all time.
And I know he is your favorite fighter. Would you? I don't think he cracks the top 5 either. Would you put him as top 10?
Oh, absolutely.
You'd put him as top 10?
Absolutely. He had such a dominant reign when he was a champion. Up until like the last couple of years, when his age finally started to catch up with him, and his chin didn't catch up with him, like didn't age with him, unfortunately, which is sad. But yeah, I would definitely put him in the top 10.
Who else do you round out your top 10? I know I'm catching you off guard with this. You didn't think about it much, but you put BJ Penn in your top 10? I'm not a BJ Penn guy.
Maybe 2008 BJ Penn. Like more.
But he got demolished twice by Frankie Edgar.
He did. He did get demolished. I would I don't know.
I think Frank Edgar puts together a couple more wins. He
could be up there. I think going to be a huge person in MMA is John Jones. He has potential to be one of the best ever. Dude. He is just filthy. He makes like Bader was supposed to be his toughest opposition yet, and he just made him look stupid.
Oh yeah, it was
like me going in there fighting John Jones. That's essentially what it was.
I feel like you would give John Jones a run for his money.
I could. Hey, it could happen. 4 stripes jiu-jitsu. It could happen.
You never know.
But yeah, so that's what's tough about the topic. It says the sport, in essence, is still very young.
Very.
And people I would consider putting Forrest Griffin in the top 10 just because of his fight with Stephen Bonner.
The only reason I would have put Forrest in the top 10 was this past weekend was his first fight in almost 2 full years.
1 year.
It was more than a year, Matt. They're at.
It was like 15 months. It was November 2009. So that's like 14 months.
All right, calm down. So first fight in a year and a half. First fight in a year and a half. And, good fight this past weekend against Rich Franklin. Mm-hmm. Very good fight. I think it was good for Forrest to get back in there.
Yeah.
Glad the fight went the distance. It was good. You got to see stuff from both of them. You were not going to see a knockout in that fight.
Absolutely not.
Forrest refuses to go down. Mm-hmm. Franklin's tough as nails. Neither one was going to tap.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you knew you were going to get a good fight out of that one. Would you put... I know this is a 99% a no, but I'm interested to hear what you have to say. What about Tito?
I think, I don't think, if you're talking about talent-wise, I don't think he's a top 10, but if you're going back, this is what I wouldn't put Forrest Griffin talent-wise in top 10 of all time. I would definitely put him in people that put MMA on the map, wise, because that fight was one of the highest-ranked fights ever.
Yeah.
It was on, regular TV, everyone watched it. Tito Ortiz definitely for the popularity, but he was a long-reigning UFC champion. Yep. One of the first big names, and I think, to bring it to where it is, dude. Look how big it is now. It's like the fastest growing sport in the world.
I know, absolutely.
Everyone does it.
It's true. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. It's kind of going to be a two-parter. We're going to talk NBA. 50 games into the season now. Give or take, some teams are over, some teams are right at it. Weird season so far. San Antonio, who was kind of supposed to be over the hill, has the best record in the NBA. Miami, who was supposed to kill everybody, not even lose. They're supposed to win 70 games.
They go like 81-1.
Yeah, they've had stretches at one point or another. All 3 of their big 3 have been out. Boston's maintained. They had a loss tonight against LA, but like we said, they always split the season series with LA. One of the going forward into the playoffs, you have. You can already see who the contenders are. You can see who the teams are that are just going to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
What's your biggest surprise? 50 games through. There's still 32 left. A lot of season left at the halfway point. What's your biggest surprise, good or bad?
I think surprise. I would probably say. Should I do a person?
Yeah.
The emergence of Kevin Love.
Yeah.
He was one of my favorite players coming into the league. I thought he was awesome. We have a white guy that's awesome, finally, something like that.
Great White Hope.
Great White Hope, as I call him. But, he's just emerged to a double-double machine.
Yeah.
He leads the league in rebounds, got voted to the All-Star game. I think that's great. And I think, if they put some better pieces around them in Minnesota, that can be a pretty decent team in the next couple of years.
I agree. I think Love coming up is great. I think another pleasant surprise has been Blake Griffin. You knew he was going to be good. First round pick. First overall pick. You expect him to be good, but to he's an all-star rookie. That hasn't happened since,
Very long time.
I think the last one was LeBron.
I don't even know if it was LeBron. It might have been.
I don't know. I mean, I can't really think of. Derrick Rose didn't make it his first year. I know that.
No.
Rondo didn't make it
It's
his
been
first
a
year.
while, whatever.
It has been a long time. And he's made the Clippers like an attraction now. Like, let's go see the Clippers play. Like, I talked to Jimmy D last week, and he's so psyched he got tickets for the Celtics Clippers.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's just like, I get to go see my boy Blake Griffin. Like, it's awesome. He put them back on the map. Look how many national televised games the Clippers have had this year.
I think they're already over 20 wins too. It's like the first time.
in like since the last time they made the playoffs, which was like 4 or 5 years ago. For me, the biggest surprise just happened today. Jerry Sloan stepped down as the Utah Jazz head coach out of nowhere.
After signing an extension too.
Signing the extension on Monday, his team is only 3.5 games out of first in their division behind the Thunder. And only 6.5 behind San Antonio for the best record in the West. Mm-hmm. Granted, they won't catch San Antonio.
Of course not.
San Antonio's on a tear. I think they only had like one more loss than the Lakers coming into this resignation today. I read something online that said that Jerry Sloan called a certain play in last night's game versus Chicago. Darren Williams completely ignored it, called his own play, which, by the way, they scored on that play.
Darren Williams is a good guy.
Darren Williams was awesome, but I guess Jerry Sloan and Darren Williams have been kind of butting heads lately, and they went into the halftime. Sloan kind of blew up, and all of a sudden, he resigns. The reason I'm so shocked is this guy's been an NBA coach now for 23 years, and because one player, granted your star player on that team, calls a different play than what you called in, you're going to resign.
I know. I feel like there's more to that story. They're just not.
There has to be. I feel like. I mean, hopefully it's nothing like like a health issue with him, like George Karl. Hopefully, well, not even. I think it'd be kind of funny if you had like a Rick Pitino kind of story happening. That'd be quite epic.
Oh, Slick Rick.
Right?
Yeah, I love him.
Friggin' Nature Boy style. But, no, so to me that was a huge surprise. Other, positive things. Mm-hmm. It's awesome to have the Knicks being a good team. Granted, Celtics rivals, you don't want them doing that well, but it's so cool seeing, like, Amari Stoudemire just lighting up that team. And look at all the up-and-coming players they have. Like, Felton's had the best year of his career. You have... Fields, Landry Fields, I think.
Where did he come from?
Out of nowhere. Dario Gallinari, who I just can't stand.
Don't hate him. I
think it's a certain thing. I just don't like white people in the NBA.
He's foreign though. He's like Dirk.
I like Kevin Love. Is Blake Griffin white?
Blake Griffin is half white.
So I only like half of Blake Griffin. I like the black half. He's the man.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
The thing that annoys me about the Knicks is that everyone's like, the Knicks being good is better for basketball. The Knicks have only won 2 titles in their whole life as a team, which was in the 70s. So basically they've just been shit for the past 40 years, which is fine.
I'm with you.
But I don't understand why everyone's saying, oh, the NBA is so much better with them. It's like, no, it's not.
It's really not.
They haven't had any effect on the NBA in the past 6 years.
I mean, if you look at it with when Boston hit their very, very rough point, you know what I mean? It's not like the NBA was doing that bad. People were still watching the finals.
Absolutely.
That was when Cleveland made it against San Antonio. People were still watching that. The Detroit-San Antonio series, Lakers, Detroit, people were all over that. Yes, it's awesome to have the Celtics playing well. It's great to have them being a big market team. Just like it is with Chicago. Chicago hit the rough patch after Jordan, blah, blah, blah. Kobe and the Lakers became mediocre after Shaq left. Yes, it's good, but it's not like the NBA is going to make or break because these teams are doing well, which is what I don't like. And I think also that devalues the great seasons that teams like Orlando have, that every other year Phoenix has. That Portland's having a good year this year. It kind of bothers me because you're saying, we would rather have Chicago doing well rather than
don't
Phoenix.
bother trying because you're not going to matter.
You know what I mean? It's don't make the finals because we don't want you there. You're going to be shitting.
Unless you're one of the top 5 market teams, you don't want.
It's like then why even have that? Then get rid of Milwaukee, get rid of Toronto, get rid of Indiana, get rid of all those teams. If they don't matter, get rid of them. We're going to continue the NBA talk on the flip side. Going into the Carmelo situation, which has been it feels like it's been going on since the first week of the year.
It's ridiculous. I really hope he doesn't play it.
We've heard, what is it? I think it's 4 or 5 total teams now that might be involved, and it's